Let's cut through the noise. For years, we've talked about AI and blockchain like they were two completely separate worlds. Well, that's over. What we're seeing right now is their convergence. And this isn't just another tech trend. This is the construction of a new foundational layer for our entire digital world. We've moved way past speculation here. Now it's all about understanding the deep infrastructure of the next economy. And for anyone investing, that means figuring out where the real value is about to be captured.
So let's get right to the heart of the issue with AI. I mean, these models are incredibly powerful, right? But here's the catch. They are, for all intents and purposes, black boxes. We can't just pop the hood and see how they're thinking, and that creates a massive trust problem. How can we be absolutely sure the output hasn't been tweaked? How can we prove there's no hidden bias? When you're talking about mission-critical stuff like in finance or healthcare, this lack of transparency isn't just a small issue, it's a total deal breaker.
Now flip the coin and look at blockchain. It's the polar opposite. You get perfect, unbreakable transparency and security, but it's fundamentally dumb. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It's deterministic. It just follows a rigid set of pre-programmed rules with zero room for interpretation or nuance. It can't look at complex data and make an intelligent call. It's a flawless accountant, but it's an accountant with no brain. So the billion-dollar question becomes, how do you marry the brain of an AI with the bulletproof integrity of a blockchain?
So here's our roadmap for this explainer. We're going to unpack exactly how this fusion is happening. We'll kick things off by looking at their synergy, then we'll get into the weeds of the tech stack making it all possible. After that, we'll analyze the specific networks leading the way and see how this is giving rise to a new economy of autonomous agents. Then we'll get to the practical part, actionable investment ideas, before we wrap up by taking a hard look at the real risks you absolutely need to know about.
Okay, let's start with the big picture, the convergence itself. The single most important thing to grasp here is that these two technologies are done running on parallel tracks. They are now becoming deeply, fundamentally intertwined. And you know, what's so elegant about this is how they perfectly plug each other's holes. It's a beautiful symbiosis. AI brings the brain power, the sophisticated decision-making, the pattern recognition, the ability to learn. It's the intelligence layer. Then blockchain comes in as the trust layer, the immutable proof, the unhackable audit trail. It's the incorruptible backbone. When you put them together, you get intelligent systems where every single action is verifiably secure and trustworthy. This quote just nails it. The most powerful part of this whole revolution is that it's going to be invisible. You, the user, you'll just interact with a brilliant AI. You'll have no idea that every single decision, every verification, every transaction is being quietly and securely logged on a blockchain in the background. It's just like TCP/IP on the internet today. You don't think about the protocol, you just browse a website. Blockchain is becoming that fundamental, invisible protocol for trust. So the big question is, how does this actually work under the hood? What are the key pieces of technology that make this invisible marriage possible? Let's peel back the layers and look at the tech stack. Well, the absolute star of the show here is something called zero-knowledge machine learning, or zkML. Honestly, this is the cryptographic magic that unlocks everything. It allows an AI to prove with mathematical certainty that it performed a specific task correctly, using a specific model without ever revealing the sensitive data it used or its own secret sauce algorithm. It basically solves the AI trust and privacy problem in one incredibly elegant move.
And in practice, it's actually pretty straightforward. Look, all the heavy lifting, the intense AI computation, that happens off-chain where it's fast and efficient. As the AI produces its result, it also generates a tiny mathematically linked cryptographic proof. Now that little proof is the only thing that gets sent to the blockchain. A smart contract on the chain can then verify that proof in an instant. So you get a completely trustworthy result without ever needing to run a gigantic, expensive AI model on the blockchain itself. It's brilliant.
But of course, AI is incredibly hungry for one thing, processing power. And that's where DePIN comes into the picture. The best way to think about DePIN is like an Airbnb for computer GPUs. These networks use crypto to incentivize people and companies all over the world to rent out their unused graphics card capacity. This creates a massive, decentralized global supercomputer. Why does this matter? It breaks the monopoly of centralized cloud giants like Amazon and Google, and it makes the raw compute power that AI needs to thrive accessible to everyone.
Okay, so we have the tech, but where does it run? See, not all blockchains are built the same, and for these new applications, choosing the right network is absolutely critical. It determines everything: speed, cost, security, the whole shebang.
This table really says it all. You've got two fundamentally different design philosophies here.
Look at Ethereum. Yeah, the block times are slower, transaction finality can take up to 15 minutes. It's like a financial fortress. You wouldn't use it for a cup of coffee. But if your AI is settling a multi-million-dollar trade, that rock-solid security isn't a bug, it's the main feature. Now look over at Solana. It's a completely different animal. It's a Formula One race car. We're talking near-instant reactions, thousands of transactions a second, and costs that are fractions of a penny. This is the engine built for a world with millions of consumer-facing AI agents performing countless tiny tasks every second. So you see, the choice of network isn't just a technical detail, it defines what's even possible.
And it doesn't stop there. We're seeing specialized networks pop up that are fascinating. Take BitTensor. It's not just a platform for AI, it's a decentralized AI network itself. It's creating an open marketplace where AI models compete and get rewarded for their intelligence. This could totally change the game for AI development. Then you have the OG, Bitcoin. People are building incredible things on top of it now. Technologies like BitVM2 are making it possible to use Bitcoin's unmatched trillion-dollar security to verify complex AI operations. This opens the door for extremely high-stakes applications that need the highest level of trust imaginable.
So, we've got the tech, we've got the networks. What does this all build towards? Well, the ultimate result here, the real paradigm shift, is the emergence of what we're calling the autonomous agent economy. A world where AI programs can act as truly independent economic players, making their own decisions and transacting value without human intervention.
And just to put a number on this, let's talk about scale. Projections are already pointing to a $1 trillion market just for B2C agentic commerce. That's AI agents buying things for us in the US alone by 2030. This isn't some niche corner of the tech world, this is a fundamental rewiring of our entire digital economy.
To make this real, let's imagine a company called Vero. Vero's business is music licensing, but it has no human employees. It has no physical office. It's an AI that runs itself. It autonomously buys GPU compute time from a DePIN network, collects its revenue in stablecoins, and manages its entire treasury through on-chain smart contracts. Every single cent of revenue and every single expense is perfectly transparent and auditable on a public ledger forever. This isn't science fiction. This is the future of the company.
So how does our autonomous company, Vero, get paid? It's not getting a wire transfer, that's for sure. The old-school financial system, with its 9 to 5 hours, its bank holidays, its multi-day settlement times, it's just completely incompatible with a 24/7, always-on machine economy. Stablecoins like USDC are the native money of AI. They're programmable, they're instant, they're global. They are the essential monetary lifeblood for this new machine-to-machine world.
All right, this all leads us to the most important question. As an investor, how do you actually get exposure to this massive shift? Let's break down some actionable ways to think about the investment landscape.
For a crypto-native approach, the smartest play is to focus on the essential infrastructure layers. Think of it like a tech stack. At the very bottom, you have Bitcoin. With BitVM2, it's becoming the ultimate global settlement layer, the final arbiter for high-value AI computations. One layer up, you have Ethereum, the base for institutional DeFi. It's where the high-value, complex AI financial products will be built and settled. Then you have Solana, which is the clear bet on the high-frequency, high-volume consumer side of this new economy. BitTensor, or Tau, is a totally different kind of bet. You're investing in a decentralized marketplace for intelligence itself. Near is another layer 1 carving out a strong niche specifically in agent-based commerce. And finally, you have Render, which is a pure play on DePIN, the decentralized compute that powers this entire ecosystem. Each one of these is a distinct thesis on a different part of the stack.
Now, if you're looking at traditional stock markets, the strategy is classic. Invest in the picks and shovels. Who's building the hardware that makes all of this possible? Number 1, no surprise, is NVIDIA. They are the undisputed king of the high-performance GPUs needed for AI training. Owning them is a direct bet on the growth of AI compute. Then there's TSM, Taiwan Semiconductor. They're the world's foundry. They literally manufacture the chips for almost everyone, including NVIDIA and AMD, making them a bet on the entire semiconductor industry. AMD is the key challenger to NVIDIA, especially in the data center and AI inference markets. Broadcom is critical. They provide the high-speed networking gear that connects all these GPUs together in massive data centers. And finally, Micron. They are a leader in high-bandwidth memory, or HBM, which is an absolutely essential component that sits right next to the GPU, feeding it data at incredible speeds. Each of these companies represents a critical choke point in the physical AI supply chain.
But let's be real for a second. This is not a straight line up. It would be a huge mistake to ignore the very real risks and the major headwinds that could slow all of this down.
We have to be clear-eyed about the challenges. First, scalability and simple reliability. Let's be honest, decentralized networks are still maturing. They don't yet have the rock-solid stability of an Amazon Web Services. Second, the privacy paradox is still a thing. zkML is a massive step forward, but the fundamental transparency of most blockchains can still clash with the intense data privacy needs of many AI applications. Third, new security threats are popping up, like these tool poisoning attacks, where bad actors can trick AI agents into doing things they shouldn't. And finally, and maybe most importantly, there's the risk of just bad ideas. A lot of projects are going to slap AI and blockchain on a white paper and fail, because they're forcing an integration that doesn't actually solve a real-world problem.
But even with all those risks, the direction of travel is unmistakable. This quiet, invisible convergence of AI and blockchain is building the digital bedrock of the future. It's moving from hype to infrastructure, the fundamental plumbing for a new internet of autonomous, intelligent value. So really, the question we should all be asking ourselves isn't if this is important, but rather, how are we getting positioned for what comes next?